Good evening, folks, and welcome to Alien Addict on a fine and Lee. What type of evening is it?
Disclosure evening.
Oh no, I thought you should say something more clever than that. Dave's definitely gonna say something a bit more clever than that.
Hi guys. I like turtles.
Yeah. I feel a little bit like a turtle. Like when I was listening to that, I was just like, I was slowly coming out of my shell. You know, slowly thinking, what's going on here? My nipples. Well, I was driving. And my nipples were like, I don't know, hard bread. But this, as you may have seen the title, is the pre-show. We are going to cover this in depth on, well, as depth as Alien Addict can get on Friday's show. We are definitely going to talk about it tonight, but the link is in the description, people, and I'm sure Lee's going to smash it in the chat.
Yeah, I'll do it right now. Right.
For our exclusive Rokfin show, which is going to be in about 30 minutes from now.
Yeah, providing all streams properly, because we're still...
It did work. We worked it out last week. We worked it out.
Yeah. I'm still not sure that wasn't more luck than judgment.
You can call us what you like in the chat on Rokfin, because nothing's censored.
Yeah, well,
we just ignore it. Yeah.
See, I'm looking forward to getting over to Rokfin because I have a theory, and it's not a theory for YouTube.
Give a little bit away though now, because literally that's the most excited I've ever seen you.
I genuinely can't.
Yes, Lee, tell us a little bit about the theory that will shut down all these channels.
Yeah, okay. Hang on.
No, I mean, I don't mean that. I mean, when I rang you and said we need to be on time and what should we do with the channel, that's the most excited I've ever heard you about any sort of these press conference hearing things.
Right. I tell you what's the best way to do this here. I haven't watched any of the other commentators on YouTube giving their opinions on it yet. I'm guessing I think I can already hear what most people are going to say. But they're not taken into account. I have never seen something in such a short space of time garner this type of response. So I've got a list of things here. So right now, as of 5-6 hours ago when it finished, Guardian in the UK, UFO hearings live, Congress, examples of alien spacecraft claims, a star witness gets, and then it's gone. But yeah, Guardian. 2 articles in the Guardian, one 6 hours ago, one 5 hours ago. Independent UFO hearing, live Pentagon whistleblowers testified before Congress of alien sightings. The Mail, Tim Butchett, I can't say that word. Kicks off bombshell UFO Congress hearing as whistleblowers suggest people have been murdered as part of a conspiracy to keep alien craft secret. The Daily Beast, former Navy pilot, testifies in Congress. Another one, The Guardian, 3 hours ago, UFO hearing. 10 hours ago in The Guardian, talking about it before it even happened. Time, The Express, Space.com, the BBC, UFO whistleblower gives evidence in Congress hearing. Yahoo News, more from the BBC, more from The Guardian. Something I've never heard of before, so it doesn't really matter. But everything, the Mirror,
BBC,
CBS, yes. Washington Examiner, never heard of that one. I thought I was going to say Post, to be honest. Live Science, Metro, a couple of articles from the Metro. I could just keep going down. I could just keep going on. I have never seen this sort of thing. Forbes, Congress hearing, Congress hold UFO hearing Wednesday. So this was before this one came up yesterday. I know we'd heard it all before, right?
Yeah, it's not for us.
But when you have I'll see if I can. I'll see if I can pull that up really quickly. Just as a demonstration of why I think this is fucking wild.
These types of things aren't for the conspiracy theorists, though. They're for
No,
the
they're
normies.
not. That's
They're for the
we-
normies.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So when you consider that, like, Normie Jane has just been.
Sorry, Jane.
No, she's not very nice. I've heard she tortures puppies.
Who doesn't?
Let me share this.
So while Lee's pulling that up, guys, this is the pre-show. It's about 30 minutes, and we're about 10 minutes in now. The Rokfin is the link is in the description. I will be putting the link on Twitter, and we'll be putting it in the chat for you to join the show. It is free to join. You don't have to pay. Like to follow us though.
Yeah. So right, just considering this was one of the ones that jumped out to me. This clip here. So you've got Normie Jane, which has just come home from work. She's had a terrible day. She turns on the news and she gets hit with this.
Intelligent extraterrestrials.
Something I can't discuss in public setting.
Okay, I can't ask when you think this occurred. If you believe we have crashed craft, stated earlier, do we have the bodies of the pilots who piloted this craft?
As I've stated publicly already in my News Nation interview, biologics came with some of these recoveries. Yeah.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still on the program.
And was this documentary evidence, this video, photos, eyewitness? Like, how would that be determined?
The specific documentation I would have to talk to you in a skiff about.
Gotcha. Okay. So, and you may or may not be able to answer my last question, and maybe we get into a skiff at the next hearing that we have, but who in the government, either what agency, sub-agency, what contractors, who should be called into the next hearing about UAPs, either in a public setting or even in a private setting? And you probably can't name names, but what agencies or organizations, contractors, et cetera, do we need to call in to get these questions answered, whether it's about funding, what programs are happening, and what's out there?
I can give you a specific cooperative and hostile witness list of specific individuals that were in those.
And how soon can we get that list?
I'm happy to provide that to you after the hearing.
Super. Thank you. And I yield back.
So my point is, as far as Normie Susan is concerned, that's disclosure.
Kinda.
Like there's no if
To your mum, my
right,
mum.
there's a load of stuff right on about like heat waves and such right now. Now, for the sake of YouTube, I won't go into it too much. But there's a quote in 1984 which says that the party will convince you to disregard the proof seen by your eyes and ears, something like that. And that's exactly what the news can do. Like the amount of people that will hear something and just take it at face value because they saw it on the television is unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
So the same people that don't care that all of a sudden we're taking temperatures through like ground temperature rather than ambient air temperature like we always have done, are the same people that will listen to that and go, well, aliens are real. And that's huge. That's a huge portion of people. That's disclosure. That's just like, what else do you want?
He did keep saying, I never said alien.
Yeah.
Okay.
Say that.
Yeah.
Non-human.
No, that's fair. Mhm.
Non-human and then one of their key words is non-human intelligence.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Do you think that is a keyword, Dave?
Yes.
Mhm.
I also think
agree.
that this is a bigger push by someone else because he has all pertinent information ready. He even has it laid out how he needs to talk to them. Like, it's pretty well thought out.
Yeah.
Like
He
honestly,
was
like
too calm.
yeah, and him talking about like the skiff thing. So that's secure compartmented information facility. There's also a SAPF, but it's just a skiff. It just depends on who uses it, what terminology they use, and when like they can be set up for anything. They're secure from electronics. They can be set up for like on-site manufacturing things. They're mostly, I wouldn't say. I'm familiar with them in a certain light as containers that are converted on the inside. They have like air conditioning, electric generators. They're not hooked to anything. They're insulated from everything. They're magnetically shielded. And when you go in, you get checked, man. You can't have a thumb drive in your pocket. You can't have a watch on, any kind of watch. You're taking all your shit off.
That's John
yeah.
McAfee essentially lived in one for a while, didn't he?
No, these are actually kind of nice on the inside. Like they're used for like war rooms, office rooms, things like that. When the DOD uses them, they're pretty serious. Like there's sign-in check-ins. Like you'll have Marines guarding them or wherever they are in their base. You might have Army, Air Force, whatever. But they can also be set up for all kinds of different things. So when he talks to her, like, I can take you in there and talk to you about it. Like you generally have to have a clearance to like go in one. Like you're already on a list somewhere. You know what I mean? Depending on like if you're going in there for communications.
I'll be straight up here. I'd go to a skiff with Miss Mace any day. Any day.
Yeah. So like, and him pitting it that way, like I'll happily go into a place like that. And it's interesting because he's like, we're talking about a thing that's totally secure. So that means that part of the information he knows is classified, right? He knows that. That's why he's saying we'll talk about it in a place where nobody else can hear it. Whatever information that we're going to show will be there, and it's usually left there. So he's not, anyway, when the government does it or other entities. So it's interesting. It's very interesting that that's it. And obviously she's like, yeah, I guess we can, arrange that. And the thing is, in DC, like skiffs aren't just these like container tote things that, open up and have these secure doors and stuff. They're whole buildings. Like the Central Intelligence Agency, they have whole buildings that are secure like that. The only thing that's not secured is like the lobby. You know what I mean? Everything else, you walk in with no electronics, no nothing. They scan you for RF signals and stuff. So that was key, and you could tell everything he has is prepared. She's like, I have a list of hostile witnesses that you could call. That's he's literally done all their work. He has a package ready to hand them so that they can continue with it. That's what he's talking about. Like he has, these are the people who are going to be difficult. These are the people who are going to help you because they're on my side. And however I'm trying to frame that side.
So.
Well, I think we've lost Lee.
We lost Lee.
Have you? I'm still here.
Means you're not moving. Oh, there, you're back. You're back now.
Am I back? If I was a conspiracy theorist.
You are.
If I was a conspiracy theorist, I would say because this was like Stuart said in our little chat saying, "Oh, is Joe Rogan there because of all the people that were there?"
Sean Ryan was.
Sean Ryan was. I will see. I want to chat about Sean Ryan later. Well, mind you, that we can say that here. That's nothing bad. I feel like a system is being put up here. I like Sean Ryan. I like his podcast. I listened today. But in the same way as there was an article I read this morning from with a clip from Joe Rogan's podcast talking about Newsweek? It is Newsweek, isn't it? That's been put in the
News
UFO
Nation.
stuff out. News Nation.
News Nation.
News Nation.
And he was saying, if he was the government, News Nation is definitely the way that he would go about essentially co-opting a news network to push a narrative that he wanted to push. Rogan took a step back from the UFO stuff. Sean Ryan, if I was the government, is what I would set up if Rogan backed out of doing what I wanted him to do.
Do you think that?
Well, he's been doing that podcast for 3 years, and all of a sudden, it's second highest podcast. It's second biggest podcast in the US this week. It's a great podcast, and he's a likable guy, but he has come out of fuck or nowhere.
The thing
I've
is,
not
though,
heard of him before that. I'll be honest.
they
with you.
know everything about him.
Mm.
And what I mean by that isn't like, I'll be the first one. I don't think he's an agent. I don't think he's working for the government. But if you know enough about someone,
Yeah.
you know who you can put in front of them to get what you want done. It's just social manipulation. It's social engineering. And they literally know everything about that guy.
I think
From
that's
his traumas to everything.
But I think that's 90% of the way this would work. In the same way as I don't think George Knapp, for instance, is a paid member, or Jeremy Corbell. But
I don't think he is either.
I think
He loves it, doesn't he? He loves it.
Well, this is the thing. I think it would be easy if you want people to do what you want them to do. It's like rewards at work, isn't it? If you want people to work hard, you reward them slightly, and then they'll work harder for you. It's easier to have people that want to do what they're doing than patsies that you just you have to plug in that are trying to act. Like I've said, I don't care who you are. You can't lie for 3 hours at a time. Not most people can't lie for 3 hours at a time. So you put people in these positions where they don't really have to lie. The only caveat I would have with that is, we've had these people pop up like Tom DeLonge. Like Tom DeLonge failed his test. He went on Joe Rogan and he failed. Otherwise, he would be a part of this.
He would be the front man.
Yes. That's why I think Lou Elizondo had to step in, because they needed somebody else to continue moving this thing along until they worked it out. David Fravor did all these interviews because he wasn't media trained. But isn't it weird how Fravor came out and he did everything, like every news channel, every podcast he could do.
Fravor,
Frisbee.
David Frisbee.
that wasn't that funny.
Frisbee. I'm thinking of Flyer the Navigator and UFOs. And Frisbee at the beginning.
So I think in order for him to get to where he was presenting this in front of Congress, they wanted him to have a certain level of media training, which is why they stuck him everywhere. Grush didn't need that. He did like one interview with an Australian with a weird accent, and he was straight in, and he almost like he was trained for the job he was doing today.
I think he's the most important person there, but not for the right reasons.
Well, no, Jeremy Corbell was the most important person there, because I'm starting to think I love that man a little bit.
Yeah, he's fun. I bet he is fun.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's just something about Grush that I can't put my finger on it. It's like he's so.
You should ask him nicely.
He's so sure of himself, like, and I don't mean that as an insult at all. I just the confidence that comes from that guy is crazy. Like, considering what he's talking about, considering he's saying that his life has been put under threat. There's so much. I mean, that's where training to be a real man comes from, or whatever. But
or a good salesman.
The other two, I believe Fravor, and I believe I always forget the guy's name. You know what I mean? First guy. What's his name now?
Bob Lazar?
No, the three of them that were there. Somebody in the chat, his name's just literally left my brain. The guy that saw the ball with the square inside.
Are you having a stroke right now, or?
I forgot his name. What's his name? Jesus Christ. Anyway, the guy,
remember when you said to me, he was taking the piss at me this morning because I couldn't remember George Knapp's name.
Yeah,
said,
you
need a list of UFO people. You need
Graves,
a list of UFO.
yeah, Ryan Graves. Jesus Christ, it just left my brain.
Who's that? Never heard of that guy before. You ever heard of that guy, Lee?
What, Ryan Graves?
Yeah,
Graves.
Never heard of that name.
Anyway, those two, Graves and Fravor, I believe those guys. And I know there's a lot of people saying, well, they're selling this, they're selling that. It's all going to be a big money thing. They've just sworn in front of Congress, and I think a lot of people are forgetting that. What's the penalties if you are caught out with this? Not that they can be caught out with it, because is the non-Dave? I'm not American, so I have no idea.
I mean, there's technically things they could do, but like they're not going to send the U.S. Marshals. They're not going to penalize you. They're not going to.
Oh, so it's not a big deal to lie in front of Congress.
Really.
No,
They'd really have to push it. They'd really have to push it. Like, there's.
I'd argue that with national security, that might be a bit of a deal.
Hey, what did he say? I'll talk to you in a skiff. I'll talk to you in a secure location outside of any kind of magnetic listening. Where basically, if it's DoD ran, you got to check to get in, check to get out. It's going to be secure. You're going to sign paperwork.
Even if you take the stuff, sorry, my socks come off. Even if you took the stuff,
hate it when that happens.
Yeah, I could just cope with it, but I don't want to. Even if you take what you couldn't say out, for national security sake, there was stuff he put in there that I think you could argue would like scare the public.
Oh yeah. Definitely. 100% the stuff that he was saying was scary.
Americans don't pay attention, man. We don't care. We don't care. The thing we need to take away from this is, why is it only the United States government? Why are there no whistleblowers in the other countries?
100%.
This is strange, right?
Yeah.
You're the UFO guys.
Who's the UFO guys?
Americans.
What I think is interesting is he avoided a couple topics. Like, even she kind of admitted that, like, oh, we can't talk about the date that it was found. Well, that means the date's significant.
Yeah.
Right.
Are we
That
talking
means
about
the date would easily pinpoint what's going on.
It was, I think it was Roswell, because if you go back to his previous interview, when he mentioned the crash in Italy, the news guy whose name escapes me.
I've got that, Lee, that clip.
He brought,
You say it's
Run
a
it, Ollie.
90-year cover-up.
Just about, yeah.
90 years.
1933 was the first recovery in Europe, in Magenta, Italy. They recovered a partially intact vehicle.
It's long been known.
He's got proper dead eyes, hasn't he? Like, he was looking through that guy. You could see that guy asked him questions, and he did not. If that man had died in front of him, he'd have just got up and walked off. He wouldn't have thought about it for a second. He'd have gone for lunch. But yeah, he was asked after that about Roswell, if you remember, and he said, "No, I can't talk about that because that's classified," or however he put it. I mean, realistically, if there's a crash which is gonna date something, it's gonna be Roswell, isn't it?
Maybe.
Well, the Magenta Italy is way before Roswell.
Yeah.
I feel if that was what they were talking about, if that was
Roswell's 1947.
Well, he's already said 33, so it's not that date. He's talking about something else.
Yeah. And I feel if that was the case, he wouldn't have mentioned that in the last interview, and he'd have mentioned it in Congress because he's already spoken about it.
I mean, now I want to go deep on it, but we are literally minutes away from the show that is going to go live on Rokfin. Lee, have you whacked it?
He's whacked it today. Don't you worry.
Twice.
Whack it again in the chat.
3 times. I'm a simple man. I'm made of flesh and bone.
It's the calluses are for.
Whack that link.
Yeah, it's like, again, I just to say, like, this, whatever they're doing now, this movement, it isn't for the conspiracy theorists. It's not for UFO people. It's not for the paranormal. It's not for us. This is for the normies and suburban American and potentially the rest of the world who are just hanging out at the water cooler, doing their thing, catching it on news, and those people are the ones soaking it up, seeing more and more. I think that's what all this is about.
Yeah. So I've got a bit of a theory that we can go into in a minute. I'm interested to know what you guys think about it. I almost feel like this is the beginning now. This is the beginning of an operation.
Surgical?
No.
Oh.
I couldn't agree more.
Psychological.
I think so. You said before you've not seen what the other people have said that you think that may be speaking.
Yeah, have you?
This is I listened to a little bit of Lou reviews, and I've listened to some of Stephen Cambion, and you're right. They don't think it's a big deal. And I get why they don't think it's a big deal, because it's just what you said. It's not a big but it's not a big deal to us. It's
no, but
not.
I don't get, like, all due respect to Lou and Stephen, I don't get how they don't see that.
Well, that's what I was going to say, because the bigger deal is that this now isn't for us. This is for fucking everybody.
Especially Stephen. Like I kind of get Lou. Lou's kind of in as far as the debunk.
Lou's fucked off.
Yeah, but I think he's pretty much made his bed with the whole everything's bunk. There's no point in this. I'm surprised Stephen Cambion didn't see that. Like I said, that list I've just brought up there of the amount of mainstream news articles this said that as much as I'm not a great reader of the old dead tree press, this will be on newspapers tomorrow. And although it's not a big deal to me, newspapers are still a big deal to a big part of the population.
This is not for the, us crazy conspiracy people who watch all the videos on it. Like, everyone in our chat, we watch these things, we follow these things. We're all into this. It's for the people who have just normal Taco Tuesdays, who see their friends maybe once every other week. Maybe they're worried about, am I going to book the Disney tickets this summer? Where are we going for fall break and spring break? I got to work all week at the office. I get home. I don't want to click on the news. For them, the more of this kind of buzz that's going, it starts to penetrate their psyche and their information on their news cycle. That's what it's for.
Well, we've got seconds now before we should pop over to Rokfin. I say we disappear now. Please come over to Rokfin, because I have stuff to say that I can't say here, and we want to build Rokfin.
And if you love conspiracies, like if you love let's face it, if you're on UFO shows, you like conspiracies. Rokfin that's all it is.
Yeah, we might go into why Ollie's wearing that fucking t-shirt.
Exactly. And also, at some point, I think, and this sort of platform, it's going to get harder. Alien Addict's not going anywhere from YouTube unless we get pushed.
Unless they makes us.
Yeah, but this is more than just the backup. You're going to get an exclusive show every single week.
So on this show, when we go to Rokfin, are you going to tell the people about your guys going and seeing the shaman out in the woods?
Yes,
we will. That's a different show, but yes, 100%.
I can't wait. I'm looking forward to that.
Right, I will. I will end this if you send Dave the link for the Rokfin, and I'll get out of here.
Right.
See people in Rokfin.
Bye.
See you guys. It's in the description. I'm going to put it out on Twitter.
Right.
As well.
I'm going to end broadcast. Okay.
Right. No, don't end broadcast. I'll end it.
All right. Fucking Nancy.
No, because I'm just literally.
Well, then do it. Do it.
Oh yeah.
Just do it.
None of this had to happen, Ollie.
All this prattling. Just do it.
That is true. None of it did have to happen.
One more link. Bye.
I have seen the logs. I have seen the videos. We have attempted shoot downs of UAPs on a regular basis. We're talking as recently as last Friday.
Had to get Jezza in there. Follow Rokfin. It's in the link. It's in the description. Now,